Hello, Proxy Table Gaming, PTG. I'm Hyper G, saluting, I think, or just
Yes,
pointing to
sir.
his forehead.
Yeah.
His lucky sixes. Yes.
Someone
Think,
give me
man,
something to
think.
put in this. Yes, I'm
There's a
here.
lot in that right now. There's a lot in
There's so
that. There's
much.
so
There's
much
so
going
much.
on, isn't there? So
Yeah,
much going on that we're not actually recording many videos right now because
we're
we're just
not.
so much going on.
We are
But
trying to get our
yeah.
head around things and hopefully doing a good job. We had a really good, positive feedback from the last video, last couple of videos we've done actually, in terms of
Yeah.
giving information and things. So hopefully we're doing well, and hopefully we're not making too many mistakes that it's
Well,
unbearable and
yeah, I
unwatchable.
mean, the Warhol battle kind of went a bit crazy towards the end with the whole duel thing, but it was still a battle and,
Yeah.
learning experience nonetheless. But
But we move
yeah,
on, and we're once again in the real life,
we are.
and of
Yeah,
course,
models.
yes, of course, we are on the fabled 3.0 that is now the new thing. That will go eventually because we'll just be
Yeah,
on
yeah,
3.0, and that'll be the thing. But just so you know,
yeah.
Saurian Ancients versus Demons.
Yeah. And Demons is the book that this is me with Saurian Ancients, just in case there would be any
Just
doubt. Um, um, Demons are the army that I've never really got my head around, like in terms of playing against. I don't play against them often. And I just think they're so good. Like across the whole book, everything's good. So I've got a little bit of a, I don't know, fear about them. So I was interested to see
mm,
whether that was still going to maintain into 3.0. And looking at the Demon book, I have to say there's not a lot of changes. 3.0 hasn't really affected them in my eyes,
in your head,
as the person
yeah.
who doesn't know much
So
about demons. So
uh, as
immediately, if you're looking at this as a demon player, of
absolutely.
course it's changed us. We're
Ru-
rubbish now.
Put them in the comments as to why Hyper-G is wrong. By the way,
Exactly.
that's what
Yes.
we need.
Yes. And we're only 3 minutes into the video. Yeah. So
Yeah.
great. This be my list. I changed it completely again for my third battle. I'm not really going for trying out a list in these stages. I'm basically trying out everything in the Saurian book to get it on the table and to see what I like and don't like, etc. So Anorak's still around, but he has changed to Druidism. That's kind of what I'm doing. I'm going through all the
Yeah.
different powers and going through the different paths.
We should say as
So,
well that there's been a hotfix since the battle.
oh yeah,
So
yes, indeed,
it might be slight tweaks here and there. I don't think too
yes.
much actually.
No,
But
probably not much.
just as a FYI.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, interestingly, the hotfix did make it an Anorak can be up to 700 points now, whereas at this stage I was restricted to only making him 600.
Yeah.
But that's just a happy stance, really. But in this battle, he's got Eternal Mastery, which is the +1 to cast, which is a rare thing in Masters these days. I was working out whether it was worth the 70 points that I'm paying for it.
Hmm.
I'm not sure it is. I'll say that now because I might forget later. But I'm not sure 70 points is worth it for +1 to cast, personally. But yeah, Guiding Mastery is the one that allows a Magnosaur unit to reroll a charge each turn. Magnosaur is just the way of saying dinosaur. They changed that from dinosaur to Magnosaur in the prep stages. And the Stampede Resonator Crystal allows you to change your stomps into impact hits once per battle, which is quite cool when you've got a Taurosaur, which is a bomb. Rocking Druidism, taking Fountain of Youth, Healing Waters, Nature's Venom, and Stone Skin. They're all very defensive. Nature's Venom gives you poison. That's probably aggressive. But generally, Druidism is similar kind of ilk that it was before. Not quite as healy now, but still, does its usual things. I got two Cowboys, two Tegu veterans on Saurian Raptors who are looking pretty good in the 3.0 meta, I have to say. They're not attached, so they don't have to go in units or anything like that. So they can roam free. Raptors are back to giving 2 armor save instead of 1. So there's a chance of getting 1-up Raptors. I haven't in this version. They're both 2-up, I think. The first one has got paired weapons, Eldritch Inscriptions, which is reroll to hit, reroll to wound. Love it. And that's first strike for both of those. And Vital Essence, which is the +1 HP and Fortitude. Pretty nicely pretty nicely defended. The other one's got the 5-up Aegis save with Talisman of Shielding, Shield, Light Lance, Glory of the Dawn Age, which is standard +1 strength, and it's a lethal strike, multiple wounds 2, but only lethal strike on a 6 now. So it's a little bit worse, but it's also cheaper. So there you go. A small unit of Tegu warriors. They're the ones who are looking after the Anarach, who can now be stand behind in a block of Tegu warriors. Doesn't have to go Tegu guard, which is kind of cool. So they've got him. A bigger block of Tegu warriors with spears and a rending banner, because rending banner's back, and spears have lost AP. So that unit will be AP2 with spears, which is still pretty respectable.
Yeah,
2 blocks of Skink Hunters. I think that'll be my norm for the core. I will always have 2 blocks of Skink Hunters because I really like their light troops chappiness. Ramphadon Riders, keeping with them. Love my Ramphadons. I just will push them until the models are taken from me, basically. So, and they look all right in this version, so I'll be interested to see how they go. 14, yes, count them. 14 Raptor Riders. I think technically that unit
seems so cheap.
That's not the right cost. It should be 550.
550. Right, that's what it's I was going to say.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure there's an extra 200 points that should be on that cost.
Sure.
Maybe that's probably my typo when I sent you the list. But yeah, it definitely costs more than 330 points. They've also got Stalker Standard in this version of the list. Interestingly, in the hotfix, Raptor Riders have gained Strider Forest. So I don't think you need the Stalker Standards anymore. I guess that's because Raptors running through the jungle. I don't know.
Sure, the long grass.
Yeah. So if anything, the hotfix has made Raptor Riders cheaper because you don't have to pay 35 points for a Stalker Standard anymore. I mean, obviously, it doesn't help if you're not going through forests. Other DTs will affect them. But interesting one. So that's cool. And a Carnosaur Hunt Leader to go in the Raptors, which makes that unit blooming beefy. So individually, they don't break the 600 point cap, but when you add in 2 Cowboys and a Carnosaur, it's a bit of a Death Star. And the Taurosaur on the end.
Of course.
That is the Saurians.
And what's he got to face it?
Oh, God knows. Yeah, I do. I look at demon lists and I just think, oh man, I'm gonna have to flip through 90 pages to get through this one.
The Sentinel of Dunkuja is the magical greater demon, isn't it?
Correct.
I don't know whether he's still got any if he moves, if he marches or whatever. But yeah.
Still got that, I think. Yes. In this battle, the Sentinel doesn't move much, so it didn't come into play. I'm pretty sure I still read it in the rules, And he's got a Sorceress Antenna for an extra channel, which is quite cool.
Witchcraft, which is the lore of question at the minute.
The lore of, oh my gosh, it does that as well. And I wasn't surprised to see Tony bringing that, and I was interested to see how bad it was. So we'll see. It's really cool, really cool. More of a Khan, that's a traditional Tony thing. He's got a really cool model for that with an Iron Husk for extra res. Apprentice Whispers of the Veil, which is now only -1 res. It's not the discipline as well, but still it's a number 1 apprentice spell, so all good. And the Maud is just a terrifying model generally, 10 HP, etc. And some. Myrmidon's still a very respectable core unit with cracked tail. Is that the Hatred? I'm not sure. Can't remember. Might be.
I haven't got them up.
I don't know. Fury or Hatred is one of them. It helps them hit anyway, I think, because they already start strength 5. I think so anyway. Lemurs, 12 of them, and Natural Roots. They're just tough. Those blokes. And Natural Roots is an extra combat res. It's like an extra standard, basically, which is really cool. 10 Imps, All Seeing Eye. I think is that accurate? All Seeing Eye, or do they have it anyway? I've got a feeling that's accurate for their shooting.
Sure.
Because I know that they were shooting accurately, and I don't think it's included in the imp profile or the weapon profile. I could be wrong. Firestarter gives them an extra spell, which is the standard demon spell. Really good. Eidolons, they're the scouting ones, also shooting. They dance. Oh yes. The reason why they were a conclave, basically.
Yes.
So they have 2 spells. I was trying to work out where that came from. Hoarders, which Tony capped out at 600 points, the unit cap, which is terrifying. They do have the opportunity to take more than 1 manifestation, but they will tip over 600 points if you give them 2 manifestations and all 6. So that's why you only have to take 1, but they can still take 2 in the book if you have 1 less. 5 Hellhounds, all very rounded unit and very useful. Very cheap too for what they do, I think. They are low strength, but they are very quick and lots of attacks. Bloatflies, which is a unit that's always intrigued me with the fortitude saves and toxic attacks if they make saves, etc. They got the Brood Mother, so if they roll a 6 after they wound someone, they get wounds back or something along those lines.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll come into play much, Brood Mother, because whenever Tony rolled that in this battle, he didn't roll what he needed. And was very vocal about it. And then he got 5 Furies, which is always a cool trap unit. Very nice. Very nice.
And in terms of the objective and stuff, we are sticking, for the time being, anyway, with the regular rulebook 1. Although, again, in the hotfix and everything, the season pack has come out and stuff like that. So do go look at that if you want that. And this is deployment, and this is how we are set up for the game.
It was an interesting one because Tony very much split his forces. This is Tony's first game in 3.0, I should say, which is kind of why we went with those objectives being just the standard ones and no secondary objectives. It's just the primary. And Tony split his forces into 2 halves, really, which was really intriguing to me. I didn't really know what to do about that. But I think it was mainly in response to my 1 big unit of Raptors. Like, they could either go one way or the other. They couldn't go both. So, very tactically sound. So on Tony's right, our left as we're looking at it, he's got the Myrmidons behind the Hellhounds on the hill, the Maw just poking on the hill. Then he's got his Imps and his Sentinel. So actually a lot of points on that side. Then he's got his Furies in the middle, ready to go whichever way they want to. On Tony's left, our right, as we're looking at it, he's got the Bloatflies behind the Hoarders. Then the Lemurs in front of them, alongside the Hoarders, and he's got the Eidolons in the forest, scouting. For myself, I've got a unit of Skink Hunters on the left, Taurosaur next to the Mahusive Raptor Rider unit, with the Carnosaur in the middle, and the 2 Cowboys are deployed in there as well. I've got the Anarach behind with his little unit of Tegu Warriors. The other Tegu Warriors with spears are behind the other hunters, and the Rampedons have vanguarded forward.
They have, and in terms of the rules, if anybody needs to know, it's not changed too much, to be honest. I think getting within 12 still okay, isn't it? It's not a Scout that was 18 that's gone back down again.
Scouts.
Yes. But so it's there for everybody to see.
Indeed, I mean, it's like you just do a normal move, whatever is in your move profile. And for Ramphadons, they're light troops. So in theory, their move can be light troops 8 doubled to 16. Except you can only move a maximum of 12 inches. So if you're seeing out to be an old 12 inches.
Yeah, if you're seeing Vanguard 6 and worrying, don't worry, you can then double it for a march as well. Yeah, exactly. On to the first turn, you get first turn. Was this a steal, or was this...
No, I dropped for it, and I rolled high enough to do it. I think I rolled the same as I did against Dan, actually. I rolled 5 on dice, which equaled out 7, so Tony couldn't have beat it. All was going to plan at this point. I advanced quite aggressively with the Ramphadons. I went into that pocket in the middle where he couldn't see anything with his combat units. He could shoot me with his Imps, but I had plans with magic for that as the main target, and I really wanted to have the Ramphadons get shot instead of the Raptors, basically, and try and keep the Ramphadons alive at the same time. I took 1 Cowboy out to go and hunt Eidolons and threaten that flank, because my idea was pretty much Raptors, Taurosaur, Ramphadons all go left, while Cowboy goes right, and I just leave the Skink Hunters and the Tegu Warriors behind. And see how well the Cowboy gets on his own. So it is a solo mission to take out that entire right flank. I didn't think he would do it, but I wanted to see if he could get his points back, which was the objective with that. So,
So fairly aggressive movement. And then in Magic, you get Healing Waters on your Raptor.
I get Healing Waters, I mean, there's other better defensive spells. Well, actually, I only had 4 spells, so technically I've got a lot to choose from with Druidism. I didn't have any conclaves in this one. I don't think I even had any enclaves with like the Tegu wizards or anything like that. So I had the other option was Stone Skin, which gives extra resilience. But Healing Waters was the one I managed to get off. I think he stopped Stone Skin. I didn't have any missiles, so I was a little bit like, ugh.
It's interesting to me that it's immune to flaming attacks now as well.
Yeah.
Makes it more jack of all tradesy.
Only if you're in touch, if the target or the caster is in touch with water, though.
Yeah,
so it's quite niche.
Even having that as a thing in it, I think is quite interesting.
Just throw in water.
Yeah. No, yeah. No, it makes sense. But
Douse you with water and then set you on fire. See what happens. Don't do that at home, folks.
No. His movement, and he moves up tentatively.
Tentatively moving up on that side. He is very scared of the cowboy, who has been replaced with a flat base with a star on it. He kept falling over outside his unit. He wasn't happy being on his own. But yeah, just moving forward, Tony, in that sense. And similarly on this side, got the Hellhounds out into a nice flanking position. Otherwise, just raring to go. He did put his skirmishing furies in front of the imps. And it was only when he went to shoot with the imps, and we'll do that in a minute anyway, that he realised that skirmishers now do block line of sight or do provide cover to your own unit.
Okay.
So it was only soft cover. But in 2.0, you used to have a rule that skirmishers didn't block line of sight, provide cover to units shooting through them. Not the case in 3.0. That line's just completely gone from skirmishers. So when we were like, oh, does the Furies block give me cover? They did. So one to bear in mind as a difference.
Yeah, but they still manage some shots and with magic and shooting.
Magic and shooting, exactly. I mean, the Healing Waters helped a little bit. Improved my Fortitude save to 5 up instead of 6 up. And obviously, because of the Furies causing a -1 to hit on top of a hard target, it was fairly hard for the shooting to do much. But he's got the Demon shooting missile spell. So,
that Spear of Infinity, that one.
That's the one. I was trying to remember what it's called. Yeah, good luck.
But on to your turn.
On to my turn, Cowboy Charge. I'm going for those Evelins. He didn't move them. He basically tried to do some shots on the Cowboy and didn't cause any wounds because Fortitude 4 up and 2 up armor save. So,
but DTs do, and as you can
hit
see,
a twig.
Yeah, some more rules.
I'm good at DT tests now. I'll pass all of them in terms of rolling 6s.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Obviously, I think we mentioned this a few battle reports ago, but yeah, DTs are now 6, so they go up, downwards, and things, and depending on your height and all sorts of things as well. So it's there if you want to have a little look at all the things. But yeah, essentially, ranks and units aren't as bad going into DTs, so it's only the front rank. Am I right in thinking that?
It's equal to either the rank or file, whichever is higher. So if you're 5 by 5 wide, then you will take 5 DTs as a height 1 infantry. If you are 5 wide and 10 deep, you will take 10 because that is your longest side. And it won't matter whether only one model hits that terrain or the whole unit hits that terrain. You'll still take 10. So bear that in mind. If you're clipping terrain, you're still taking the same amount of DTs as if you would just run through the whole terrain. So there's pros and cons to the new way it is, but either way, if you're good at rolling 6s, be fearful.
Yeah, I know.
It's in the name, lucky 6s.
Otherwise, this is the rest of your movement.
Very much the split. I made the most of the fact that the there's something else in this actually, which I didn't really cover in Tony's magic phase. I was going to say I made the most of the bloatflies looking towards my cowboy and moving the raptors up, but there's a little bit more to a story of this, and we only really realised it at the start of my Saurian movement, which was that the Saurian raptor rider unit, the Saurian raptor rider unit with the Carnosaur, they had an auto charge on the bloatflies. The front of the bloatflies.
Wow.
I couldn't fail that. I couldn't fail that charge. Now you might be thinking, why on earth didn't I take it? Because absolutely that would have been amazing. get rid of the bloatflies with one big raptor charge would have been awesome. Because I could have given them a reroll charge from the Anarach with the guiding mastery as well. So
Sure, yeah.
I don't know if it was actually auto, but it was like a 2 on Swift Ride rerollable, something like that. So I'm calling it auto. But the unsaid story that I forgot to say in Tony's Magic phase was he cast the random movement spell on my Ramphadons, and I couldn't stop it. And that meant that because charges happen before remaining moves, and random movement happens in remaining moves, the Raptors couldn't get past the Ramphadons with their charge. The Ramphadons were blocking the Raptors from charging, effectively. And because the Ramphadons hadn't moved yet, the Raptors couldn't declare the charge. So the random move spell in Witchcraft, and Tony assures me this was still the case in 2.0, so it hasn't got better. But it really screwed me over. Because that would have been a hell of an achievement if I could have got rid of the bloatflies with one raptor charge. But because the Ramphadons were in the way, couldn't do it. So I had to go back to plan A, which was going left. I held back with the Taurosaur though, and I chatted the Hellhounds with the Hunters, basically. And the Ramphadons didn't move very far with their random movement. So they didn't even accidentally charge it wrong. No. I fountain of youth in my magic to get that wound back from the DT.
And this is the new one, although it hasn't changed much. No,
it hasn't changed much, just as one. Yeah, so it's all good.
You kill a Hoarder?
I pew-pewed a Hoarder. I mean, what the hell? That was incredible. Yes. I think it was mostly incredible for Tony's lack of Aegis saves. But also a couple of poisons went through, and really good. So 1 down, 5 to go of those Hoarders. Go through the Eidolons. Not a problem. I think I poofed them to a man. There might be 1 left for a demonic blow up. But it was all good. I did not impact the Lemurs with my overrun, unfortunately. So I will be accepting the world in the counter charge.
Which means
speaking of which, there it is. Yeah.
And the Hoarders want to get out of there. They're scared of the skinks, man.
They really are. Yeah, they figured they were going to waste too much time going after the cowboy, who was just going to either die now or romp his own path. And so Tony saw a 6 charge that I'd left with into the Tega Warriors. I had moved back the Tega Warriors, so I'd made it a 6. I couldn't move them back any further. I would have made it a 7 if I could, because obviously demons have got army-wide Swift Stride. So Tony has got
still there.
Still there, yeah. So he's got a chance to roll a 6 on 2 dice. There's that. The Maw declares a charge on the Taurosaur, which, I just wasn't ready for combat in my previous turn. I could have declared a charge the Taurosaur into the Maw, but I wasn't ready for that. I didn't feel that Druidism was ready to support that as well as do what else I needed. So I was hoping the Maw now didn't make that charge, because then I've got more in my backfield, and no one wants that. The Furies, who Tony had kind of been a bit annoyed with in terms of the shooting penalty that they'd given him, just decided to throw them into the Ramphadons in the hope that they could kill a Ramphadon before the Ramphadon struck, because 2 Ramphadons fighting is infinitely worse than 1 for Tony. So he hopes the Furies would go in. That is mass, if I've said the right words, but yes. So he's going for it there. This didn't look great. More DTs, 2 wounds on the bloatflies. They're nice.
Hoarders get in.
They didn't need Swift Stride because he rolled 6. So boom. Yeah, they want that fight. They don't like the skin shooting. The Maw did fail the charge though and move forward off the hill. Its full movement distance, which isn't that far, just down the hill. And the Furies get into the Ramphadons, of course. Hellhounds get into the flank of the Skink Hunters as well. But we've got some fights.
Yeah, lots of fights going on.
Shooting means that, the Imps have now got a free shot at the Raptor Riders, and they kill 3. I wasn't able to get any. Well, no, this is Tony's magic anyway.
I think it's magic and shooting.
Magic and shooting.
Yeah, both.
Yeah. So that's all good.
What's combat?
This was interesting. Tony rolled terribly with his Fury attacks. Not just terribly, but then whatever got through, I forced 2 saved. Because Fury is on the charge. They've got 2 attacks each, I think. And they probably should have done at least 2 wounds, and that's all they needed to get 1 kill.
Yeah.
But they didn't, and the Ramphadons were just like, "You guys." Yeah, they just ripped through the Furies, and now it's all about whether or not, I can do something in my turn, really. Hoarders, this didn't go terribly for me. We've got the dice out there for pre-combat res,
pre and
post-combat res. Exactly, yeah, which is kind of cool. Now let's see if I've got the dice right or I can remember rightly, because I think there was something I did wrong here, which I'll get onto in a minute.
So it looks like he had a charge and a rank and a standard.
Correct. Yes.
And it looks like you had 3 ranks and a standard.
Yes, which is correct from my part. Except,
which is the colour dice.
In 3.0 so far, I have been terrible at counting the first rank as a rank. And technically, I should have had 4 ranks and a standard, because I was 4 ranks of 6. So that's 4 plus a standard. I should have been 5. Tony's is correct. It was.
Do you get that in 3.0? Do you get up to?
You get the first rank. Yeah. Infantry do. Height 1 infantry get up to a total of 4. Yeah. So I was 1 down on my standard res there.
Interesting.
But in terms of wounds, I did 4. He did 4, and he passed his demonic save. I don't recall the dice to see whether that one extra on my side matters. Yeah. Exactly. But there's also something else I forgot, which again is not great for me. I was steadfast because I had enough ranks at the time I was fighting, because I was higher agility, I think, or the same agility as the Hoarders. That neither are very high. No, I think because I had spears, I was the same agility actually. Because agility +1 on the spears. And because I was steadfast at the time of my attacks, I should have been getting +1 to wound for advantage position, which is huge when you're
even in the front.
Numbers. And even in front, yeah. Being steadfast gives you advantage position. The other way of getting advantage position is flanking attack. But if you're steadfast in any situation, and in order to be steadfast, I had to be 4 ranks deep, 4 proper ranks, which I was at the time of my attacks. Obviously, I'm not now, and annoyingly, I remember this after this combat when I am no longer steadfast.
Yeah.
So I missed loads in this combat because +1 to wound when you're attacking with, I think it was
with Hoarders,
24 attacks. I had 24 attacks, and I was wounding on 5s when I should have been wounding on 4s. And I mean, obviously, dice can change that, but it's pretty big for getting that.
Yeah.
So I think get your head into the whole advantage position thing with 3.0, folks.
Yeah.
And what qualifies for it, because that +1 to wound is huge.
Yeah.
It's really huge.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. So there you go.
And also, I guess, going back to that, a reason to plink away, if you can, at the units that are steadfast. Not steady, because that's a separate rule. But just to stop units being steadfast before you go in.
Exactly. Yeah. Tony only needed to kill 2 Taken Warriors to stop me being steadfast. He killed 4, so he did it. But obviously he didn't realise that he was doing that because I hadn't claimed any benefit from it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Good thoughts.
Hellhounds go through the skink hunters. I did kill 2 hellhounds though, which is pretty respectable for skinks because I was being attacked in the flank. So bear in mind I had 2 skink hunter attacks. I killed 2 hellhounds, baby.
Yeah, baby.
I count that as a win. Yeah.
Cowboy did not win though.
No, didn't take any wounds, but the combat res just smooshed him basically.
Sure.
Yeah, my bad. He got his points back because he killed the Eidolons, there or thereabouts. Yeah. But yeah, dead. So not great. Into my turn. Now I should say that the Furies charging into the Ramphadons kind of meant that they were free of the random move spell, so that was great. Although I'm not sure if Tony could have still cast it on them. Yeah, I seem to remember saving dice to stop that spell going on. And
so
just
that it couldn't happen again.
So that it couldn't happen again. Because if those Ramphadons get random movement, I can't charge my Raptor Riders, which is really annoying. Or there or thereabouts. But yeah, I was able to do that charge. I charged in my Ramphilons, I charged in my Raptor Riders because that Sentinel and the Imps have been very vulnerable. And yeah, I'm hoping to just smoosh that unit. I mean, my Death Star can pretty much deal with most things. So
Yeah, man.
Yeah, looking forward to that. I did go a bit aggressive with my Anarach though. Into the Bloatflies. That's a bit of a big balls play, and I'm not sure if it's the right thing to do. So we'll see how that turns out.
But you're steadfast.
Yes, if I remember it. You'll notice one thing I didn't do was charge the Taurosaur. I forgot that I had the Stampede Resonator Crystal on my Anorak. And that, I think if I'd remembered that, I would have charged the Taurosaur. Because that would have changed his D6 stomp attacks into D6 impact hits. And I think 3D3 plus D6 impact hits on a Maw, I think the Maw's bothered by that.
Yeah.
That's strength 6.
I
think that's pretty good.
It's a lot.
But I forgot I had the crystal, and I didn't think 3D3 was going to be enough, so didn't charge. And I'm hoping the Maw fails a charge again. So
sure.
Yep. Complete all the other charges as you see. The Skink Hunters move up to shoot the Lemurs, but other than that, all the same. I go through these imps and the Sentinel like easy as grab a objective token for doing so, because the Raptors are scoring. Now, previously in other videos, I think I've said you only get tokens for scoring versus scoring. Not so. You get points if you're scoring, and your scoring destroys anything. But I was playing this battle incorrectly. Yeah, it has to be in combat. Yeah, but I do get the points for the imps. Just on that combat, technically my cowboy killed the Sentinel in a duel, because Tony tried to get his Sentinel to do something, but the cowboy had higher agility than the Sentinel and did all 5 wounds. And I think that was some of them with a lethal strike, multiple wounds thing.
Sure.
With the Glory of the Dawn Age weapon. So killing the Sentinel in a duel meant that I got a trophy, which is an extra 100 victory points at the end.
Yes.
So worth thinking about. Like, with lack of duels, no champions anymore, but still interesting. Yeah. Ramphilons just fly on because they've done their job now. Get them out of the way. Over here, this combat goes on, and it will for some time. I think that's the combat res. I think the combat res is. I think Tony may realise that he's got unnatural roots on his hoarders at this point.
Okay.
Which technically would have nullified out my 1 combat res that I forgot.
So that gives him the +1. I was going to say how else did he get 3? And at this point, we should say after our last sort of talk, now you are not steadfast because you do not have 4 ranks. So you are steady, but you are not steadfast.
Indeed. But I'm still forgetting that the first rank counts as a rank. So I've got 3 ranks and a standard. So there's all sorts of 1 number incorrectness in this one.
Sure.
But we're learning.
But either way, you win by 1 and he holds his
still
holds.
And I'm chipping away at the hoarders. I'm happy with this. If I can kill 1 hoarder every turn, and don't forget, they get extra grind attacks every combat. So they're getting more powerful. I need to keep killing models. Because if I don't kill models, their attacks are just building up and building up. So it's scary.
Over here, that looks pretty good.
It looks pretty good, doesn't it? I was pretty happy with that turnaround in terms of woundage. But I think I was like a bit blinkered. Because I did not think about what would happen after this. I was like, that's great. I killed 2 bloatflies. And it really is great. Tony was failing Aegis saves left, right, and centre. And that is the case for pretty much the first half of this battle.
I should say as well, you managed to get Stone Skin off as well.
Yes, which obviously makes my resilience a bit better. Although Tony still wounded really well. He killed like 6 of my guys, which he probably shouldn't have done, really. Yeah, I was happy with killing. Yeah, the toxic did a lot because I didn't have any armor against that, etc. So I was happy with that. he does pass his demon test, or doesn't die anyway. Put it that way. So I was still locked in that combat, but yeah, and I definitely didn't take +1 to wound from being steadfast again. So
Sure.
that was something I really wasn't getting right.
Yeah.
The Maw does charge this, and I'm hoping that he fails. I haven't moved much further back though, so this one's pretty much guaranteed.
He doesn't this time.
No, so it wasn't one I could realistically expect him to fail. But yeah, there you go.
And the Myrmidons come off the hill.
Should say, yeah, we were a little bit lapse on the marching of the Myrmidons.
Okay.
It was kind of like a time thing that we didn't go through the marching rules quite as well as we could have done, because on reflection, those Myrmidons wheeled twice to get off the hill, which you can't do when you march. If you do a march movement now, you can only wheel once in your snaking movement.
Yes.
But in order to get off the hill, they actually wheeled twice. Tony and I only realised this after the battle, when we were like, wasn't it cool? The Myrmidons took an extra turn off the Raptor Riders. And Tony was like, hang on, I'm sure I wheeled more than once, and that's not allowed with a march, is it? And yeah, we came to the conclusion that you probably shouldn't have been able to get off the hill, which does delay the Raptors, because obviously they've got to spend a turn getting onto the hill and then charge the Myrmidons. But, they would have needed a turn to get all the way back into the board anyway. So there you go.
And the Lemurs have come in as well.
Lemurs have come into my Tegu unit, and that's where I'm thinking, the blinkers are off. Blimey, there's more in that Daemon Army over there, and I lost a lot of Tegu on my first round.
Yeah,
this keeps going well though. I didn't have the dice out for the combat runs this time around to see how wrong I was. But yeah, I again pop a hoarder off, which is amazing, and only lose two.
Yeah,
I'm thinking this is going my way. This is really going my way. Tony cannot roll a 5 up to save his life on an Aegis save.
Yeah,
and I'm just chipping away and don't need to be advantage position. I'm just winning. Yeah. Tony continues to try to roll the lowest dice possible by not doing anything with his Maw. This is wounds. I wounded more than he did, and we drew based on his charge. So it was a bit ridiculous. This.
He's got 10 wounds in that Maw.
Yeah, the Maw has 10 wounds, so it's a pretty big beast to get through. But that's a good start. The Tauruson not dying on the off charge is amazing. So, now I could do with the Raptor Riders not having to spend an extra turn going over the hill, because they might have been able to help with them all. But yeah, never mind. This doesn't go well. I did kill the Bloatfly, which is a result, because technically that's points. It would have been a primary objective thing, except chances are I'm probably going to die to the Lemurs. Because I think 6 Lemurs left at this point. Probably beats 5 Tegu Warriors, because the Tegu Warriors just can't get through them. Although Stone Skin should have helped more than it did, because I am losing way more than I think I should be.
Yeah, they're only res strength 3, aren't they, Lemurs?
Yeah. So they shouldn't be wounding very well. But I think the Bloatflies killed a fair few on their way out, actually, to be fair.
Yeah, sure.
So there's that. But yeah, I'm looking a bit thin on the ground in the middle there. That's just an overview of how we're looking at this stage. No, sorry, it's one further on, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
No, it's big. Yes,
and
sorry.
Not only that, but to compound the misery.
Yeah, so the Tegu Warriors do go down to the Lemures because I failed the test. I didn't have a BSB on the board because they're a bit different for Saurians. It's not something a character can get. You have to have them on top of a Howder device, etc., or the Koru Stone standard. And yeah, I just failed my minimized test. I don't think I lost combat by much with the Lemures, but
yeah, sure.
I did lose nonetheless, and that's a big lot. I could have done with fighting one more combat against the Lemurs to get everything in place a bit better.
Yeah.
But as it was, losing the Anorak, getting run down by Lemurs is huge. So Lemurs for the win at the minute.
Indeed.
Elsewise, I moved the Raptors onto the hill.
Yeah.
And the Cowboy leaves because I need to split my forces. I need to make the most of that Raptor unit. They have got a lot of their points back anyway because of killing the Sentinel. and the imps. But yeah,
Good that
it's
they're
good
not
that
attached. A lot of characters are now if you get mounted and things like that. So
exactly.
that is good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, really good. Yep, sounds pretty nice. Things turn quite dramatically.
And no magic.
Yeah. Well, I haven't got any magic. This fight wasn't really experiencing much magic anyway.
No, true.
As it happens. But what turns is Tony goes from failing every Aegis save to passing every Aegis save. And it means that while he keeps chipping away at my Tegu warriors, I do not keep chipping away at the Hoarders. And what with the Lemures now being on the run in the middle, I could really do with getting this unit out of here, and I'm not getting them out of here. And the Hoarders get another grind on top. Only 2 Hoarders, admittedly, but another 2 grind attacks means they're even more killy. This is like the 4th round of combat they've been in now. So they've got more grind attacks than they've got standard attacks.
Yeah,
Eek. It's a bit worrying.
Honestly, don't ever feel sorry for demons when they don't pass their 5-ups, because there will be a time when they pass all their 5-ups.
Yeah, exactly. And Tony is now reaping that moment.
Yeah,
big time. Yep. I think in terms of, I don't think that's it's not the Taurosaur versus Maw combat goes very similarly in the second round of combat again. Neither of us do many wounds to each other. I think my Taurosaur's now taken 1 more wound, but the Maw isn't doing as much as it should. And we go into Tony's turn. The Lemurs charge into the rear of the Taurosaur. That's a big problem because of combat res.
And advantage position.
And advantage position, yeah. Exactly. Which I think I can't remember whether he was doing or not. Possibly not. And the Hellhounds charge into the Tegus, which is a real problem for the Tegu, because it was bad enough that they weren't killing Hoarders anymore. But yeah. Down here. Tony moves his Myrmidons a bit more, but can't get out of the way of the Raptors this turn, and the Ramphidons have returned to add their support for blocking the Myrmidons in. Yeah, I start really losing Tegu warriors. I am steady now.
So you can only
because
lose
I have got a rank.
3.
Yes, I have got a rank, and he has not. So I do stick around. But as you can see, I'm still not getting any Hoarders. Aegis saves. Yeah, it's only going to go one way by the looks of it now, unless I can get help. The Lemurs come in here. I think it allows me the opportunity to stomp some Lemurs, so I kill a few of them instead. But I think the next picture will demonstrate that the Taurosaur runs.
Yeah, man.
Because the combat res is just too much. I think I rolled 1 on my stomp, which obviously changes quite a lot. Because I could have, on another day, I could have killed 2 Lemures with my normal attacks and stomped 6 of them.
Yeah.
There would have been wounding on 3s. But 1 stomp. No good. And so the Taurosaur runs away. But it does give me this one opportunity, and it's a big opportunity, because my Raptor Cowboy, the Raptors have got Scent of Blood rule, which means that they re-roll their failed charges if they're part of a combined charge.
Nice.
So I see my Skink Hunters there, and I think that's a good way of getting the Scent of Blood going. And don't know if it's still called Scent of Blood, actually. It might not be. No, it's called Pack Hunter. What am I talking about? Scent of Blood is a Dread Elf rule, I think. Yeah. So Pack Hunter is going on, and that charge with the Cowboy is a 4 on Swift Stride. So 2 chances to roll a 4 or more. By charging the Skink Hunter in the flank as well, it's now a 4 on 4 or more on 4 dice.
Oh, easy.
Easy, right? And I don't make it.
Only the Skinks get in.
4 dice I rolled. None of them was a 4-up. So annoyed. And I said this to Tony. He was like, "You're really gutted by that, aren't you?" And I was like, "Yes, I'm really gutted by that." Because I'm sure I would have, maybe the Tegu still go down because they're fighting Hellhounds and stuff. But it's my turn. So picture this in this hypothetical world where I can roll a 4-up, okay? I roll a 4-up. I get into the rear of the lemurs with my cowboy. Don't worry about the skink hunters on the flank because they're just there for the combined charge. Because the Tegu cowboy goes first because he's higher agility on the charge, etc. He absolutely will go through the lemurs because he's re-rolling to hit, re-rolling to wound. Is he that guy? Or is he the other guy? No, either way, he's just got good stats.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah,
Cowboy.
so
Cowboy
barring lots of aegis saves, which see previous comments, I kill all the lemurs. I overrun into the back of the hellhounds. I absolutely will change that combat res. I might still lose the Tegu to the actual combat, but the
charge in a rear,
cowboy charge in a rear, the
3 dogs,
killing all of the dogs
before they go.
I might still lose the Tegu, but yeah, I just think, that's why I was annoyed. I really needed to make that charge.
Yeah.
So yeah. But as it happens, Tegu all go down. This combat happens. We run out of time to actually roll it out, but we basically give it to the Raptors because yes, they would have taken a few casualties. But they're a big unit of Raptors. Yeah. Because we focus our time on this, which is basically the cowboy watching as the skinks get, well, not mauled yet, but they will do in a minute because
that's where they get mauled. Yeah,
that's where they get mauled right there. Yeah, you can see the Hoarder has got 1 HP left. So
which unfortunately was a sour taste in a battle that was going also. It
does. Well. It was going all right. I mean, admittedly, in the middle, I was losing ground heavily, and I needed the cowboy to come over quickly to save my soul, and he just didn't. He just came and watched, which I don't think is very honourable in Saurian society.
Are they an honourable race?
I don't think.
Put in the
comments.
Are Saurians an honourable race?
Yeah, I don't think they really care about honour, so probably no is the answer to that.
Do they care about kings? Skinks.
No gods, no kings.
Yeah.
Indeed, anyway. Yeah, all good. I really enjoyed the battle. It was one of them where I think I could have won big by moving that through. But as it happens, the score as we counted up. Now this is using the old 7-7 system, 14-point system, which I think has been hotfixed back to 20-0, hasn't it? I'm not sure.
Has it? There is a 20-0 in the season pack.
Okay.
I don't think the rule book has been. We will see.
I will see, but this is pre-hotfix, so we won't worry about that in this video. Because it was basically a 7-7 start, 14 points up for grabs, and we were very close with victory points. Obviously, I got an extra trophy, 100 points for killing Sentinel in a duel. But it was all really square in terms of pointage, and the objectives. We didn't keep a very good track of it as the battle went on. We called it a draw on objectives, but as we talked a lot about this after the battle, I have a suspicion that Tony actually won the objective because he killed skink hunters with his lemurs, and I don't think we counted that one towards the primary objective. So basically, those Raptors got 2 for killing the imps and the myrmidons.
Yeah,
so that was me.
Got the bloatflies,
but then died, so they don't keep it.
Sure.
Because the lemurs killed them for their one.
Yeah. Okay.
The hoarders killed the Tegu for another one, and I think the lemurs killing the skink hunters when they charged into when the skinks charged.
So potentially, it goes to a 9-5.
Potentially, yeah. But we didn't keep track of it very well throughout the battle, and we're all learning, folks.
We are all learning.
Yeah. But I think it was a really good mosh up between Tony and I, and we were happy enough to call it a 7-7 at the time. So there you go. Cool. Follow us on all the regulars. Give us some comments on that one. The things we're learning and getting right and wrong as it goes on. I'm enjoying this process. Really enjoying Saurians. Absolutely. I'll play another new list going to my next battle, and see where we go with that. Yeah. Although my next battle might be going to a tournament, in which case I'll combine a few things of what I've learned. and see what my list looks like. So, yeah.
Yeah, and up next is my go against Tony. I go down the club and take some high elves if you're interested in that shindig and how they do against demons.
Nah. Tune in for the battle after, folks.
Yeah. But also in the next few weeks, I'm not sure exactly when, we've got a few list reviews and draws, live draws happening. Well, I'm not sure they'll be live, but we'll see.
Our version of live.
There are lots of things going on. We're getting back to normal, quote unquote, and doing lots of other things as well. I'm sure as well book reviews will come down in the next couple of months as well, but I'm not promising when because I don't know.
No. Well, also we'll kind of let them settle a bit. I think because they are changing a lot. Like there's been hot fixes on hot fixes, so you know.
So and we want a few tournaments under our belt before we start claiming that everyone's OP, apart from our army. Yeah. So it's just one thing to say. But yes, so basically we got loads on. So do like, share, subscribe, click the notification bell, and tell your friends because we are still going, and we want to continue as well. But thanks as always for your comments in preparation to this, but also in the last couple of videos. And until next time, we will see you later.